Babble Talk is not filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Are you making fun of me or are you making fun of my friend? Are you making fun of me or making fun of my friend? Me or my friend? Me or my friend? Me or my friend? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me.
As you probably guessed, our first interview, chronologically, because I interviewed other people before that, is gonna be Ithamar Enriquez. And Ithamar is an actor I was very interested in interviewing because he's been working for a very long time and he's extremely funny. While researching all the people I could have interviewed, I stumbled upon his profile and I was like, this is gonna be so perfect. He has so many stories, and he's somebody who's been a working actor for a very long time. So I was like, it makes sense to interview that person. I have to say I was a little bit nervous at the beginning of the interview because my camera just died on me right before recording the interview, and the new one, the one I get now, the one I'm interviewing him with, could have, I mean, it didn't obviously, but could have shut down at any moment. So I was really panicked, and you can see that at the very beginning. He was very nice, told me a lot of cool stories before recording, and it was just a very nice first interview. But because of the little incident, I wasn't as natural as I usually am. But still, Ithamar is amazing, and thank you, Ithamar, for this amazing interview. And I this is amazing. Very funny person. I recommend that you check out his Instagram. He's an amazing, funny guy. I think we talk about his Instagram while we're recording. But honestly, a real delight, and thank you again. And without saying much, here's the Ithamar Enriquez interview, the commercial guy from Wandavision. Hi! Hi, can you hear me? Oh, wait a minute.
Here we go. How's that?
Oh my God. You almost gave me a heart attack. Oh my God. Oh, thank you.
You would think that with this long on Zoom, I would have already figured out how to work everything.
Oh, I'm still a newbie on Zoom too. That's why you almost gave me a heart attack. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Oh my God, what? Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Ithamar Enriquez, thank you so much for accepting this. I know you're busy.
Of course.
And I know that people must, try to talk to you since you've been on Wandavision. So how are you doing?
I'm good. It's kind of a very weird, cloudy, rainy day here in LA.
Oh yeah. I've heard that the weather in LA right now is kind of weird for you all.
It is. It'll just go from like really hot to like really cold, and then today it's kind of rainy. So I had to change rooms a few times because the one room where the light comes in, it started to get too gray. So I had to switch it up.
Oh damn! I've heard that people in LA, when weather starts to change, are like overreacting, like, "Oh my God, what is happening? Oh my God!" And
if it gets lower than 70 degrees, it's a winter storm for Los Angeles. So
really, wow! Oh my God! So we have so many things to talk about, and thank you again for doing this with me.
Of course.
You have been acting for a while now. We've seen you in Lady Bird, Key and Peele, shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm, and How I Met Your Mother. And with such a long line of credits, how did all of this started? How did you get into acting simply?
As a kid, I was just always like starved. I was always starved for attention, I guess. I just
Oh,
always enjoyed it. I always enjoyed making my family and my friends laugh.
oh,
And when I got to school, you know, I always enjoyed making the teachers laugh because I knew that as a kid,
oh.
if I could make the adults laugh, then I was on a good
Yeah,
roll. I was
it
on a good
is.
roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just kind of studied it in school. I studied theater and music, and went to college in Arizona for music theater. Thought I was
Mm.
gonna end up on Broadway, and then I started doing improv comedy. That just switched everything. That
Oh,
just
okay.
changed it all. So did improv in college. That led me to Chicago, where I eventually performed on the Second City main stage. And then from there, moved to LA in 2008 and started working professionally on TV, film, and commercials. And then now here we are,
And
that
yeah.
many years later. So
Amazing. I when I looked at your resume and all the things that you've done, I was like, he must have had a theater-based training. I was like, this has the qualities of like theater that, I love so much. I'm also an actor, by the way. I'm a
yeah,
training
cool.
actor. And I was like, he must have done something comedy wise because he's just, I'm sorry, I don't want to seem weird, but you're really, really good at comedy. You really got something going on for you. And when I was looking at some of the things you've done, I stumbled upon Ithamar Has Nothing to Say. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's kind of like, I mean, how would you describe that show? It was
Wow, that's a good question because so it started as a theater show. I started
okay.
it at the Second City Hollywood. I wrote this one man show called Ithamar's Nothing to Say, which is essentially me by myself on stage for an hour, performing comedic sketches without saying a single word. It's
Oh,
all done to music. It's all just sort of in some scenes I'll play multiple characters.
yeah.
Um, I just again, there's just something about physical comedy that since I was a kid always drew me. I think what's so cool about physical comedy is it's universal, right? So you don't need to know a particular language in order to understand the comedy because it's all physical. It's all
Mhm.
about our physical emotional reactions rather than expressing ourselves through our words. All of us naturally have a body language that expresses who we are, whether or not we know that we're actually doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so I did the one man show, and then Keegan Michael Key and Jordan Peele of Key and Peele came and watched the live show and decided
Mhm.
that they were going to help me produce a web series, which I think that's probably some of the clips you saw, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
assuming.
yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, and that turned into a whole thing. And then that was also again just a love of like Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Mr. Bean, like a lot of my
Oh my
favorites
God.
growing
I
up.
literally
Yeah.
I literally wrote on my I literally wrote Buster Keaton and Mr. Bean, comedy genius, energetic. You said it all. And I was even gonna ask you, did you learn anything from working on Key and Peele because you worked on it and you did that right after. So I was like, this is amazing, like how things connect in your career
Hmm.
and how you use the fact that you had a comedic training. Sometimes some people have a certain kind of training, then they go to Hollywood and like they stumble upon roles that where they don't really use that for a while, and then people say, "Oh my God, you were great in that kind of genre. Oh my God, when did you discover it?" And the actor is always like, "I've been doing this for 20 something years, and you just discovered it." And I this is amazing. So makes me also want to ask you, if you had to choose between comedy and drama, would you like choose comedy right now in this stage of your career right now?
100%, 100%, all the
Still,
time,
still,
all the time, still.
still.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's comedy. It's harder. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's more. It's challenge. It's more challenging.
Yeah.
Also, it's more fun. Like
Yeah.
even like, and I've only really done a little bit of drama, but most of my TV work is in comedy. But even being on the set of a comedic show as compared to a dramatic show is so different. If you're on a comedy set, for the most part, everyone's going to be jovial, excited, having a good time. It's challenging, but it's fun to figure out how this comedic bit is going to work. And when you're on a dramatic set on a TV drama, a lot of the times the mood is not as fun. Because, you know, depending on the scene you're doing, it might be a really intense, dramatic scene. And if you're an actor who wants to get in that place, you're not going to want to be joking around in between shots. So with a comedy, that kind of fun, spontaneity, energy kind of persists throughout the whole day, and it keeps it lively, it keeps it energetic.
It's amazing. And also, like, I was also gonna say, but you answered the question, what is harder? And I'm 100% agree with you. Comedy is harder. Comedy asks so much more, asks so much energy from yourself, and like it's honestly like it was an amazing answer. You blew me away. You're an amazing interviewee. I'm like, it's amazing. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Wandavision, because it's of course something that a lot of people, me including, didn't expect to be so great. And you had quite an interesting role in it. So how long was the shoot for you? Because you play the commercial guys in those really weird commercial segments in the show. How long was the shoot for you? Weeks, days?
For me specifically, I was shooting like once or twice a week for about 6 weeks. Okay. And I came in, so they shot most of their show in Atlanta.
Okay.
Up until COVID. And then they had to stop, and they moved it all to LA. So I didn't come on board until after they moved everything to LA. So we shot that probably, I think it was around September or so of last year, like 6 weeks. So yeah, the turnaround was quick. Like I think they already showed like their first trailer while we were still shooting the show. So they were moving very quickly on this show. I think I think Marvel fans were just really excited about having a new Marvel thing in over a year, right? Because there was no movie last year.
Yeah. And so especially with
Marvel fans.
Yeah.
So I think Marvel fans were just waiting for like, what's the next Marvel?
Yeah.
And they got WandaVision.
And honestly, like with COVID, I think Marvel fans were like, we need some escapism, we need something. And how do you approach such a weird role? Because it's a commercial guy, but he has no like background story. He's like, how do you approach such a character? As an actor, I'm really interested, because it's like it's a very real character.
Yeah. Well, and also especially in a Marvel project, because Marvel, they keep a lot of stuff from us. Even while we're on set, we still don't know what's like surrounding. Like we have our scene, like we know what we're going to do our commercials, but then at the end of the day, they're like, we need those scripts back. So we have to hand back the script so that nothing gets leaked out. So I was able to piece together a little bit of like, oh, there's that actor, but I never got to see what they were filming. Like just like, oh, there's that actor, so I guess there's someone in this show. And so what was exciting for me is watching the show, learning in real time what was happening in the show, because I didn't know. But going back to your earlier question about how it was to play the role, you know, I've done a bunch of commercials, so I just was like, okay, well, I'm this commercial actor doing these commercials, so I'm just going to approach it the way I would any commercial. And what, you know, I had some fun with it, with every commercial being in a different decade, because with that comes different styles of acting. So in the first commercial that takes place in the 50s with the toaster, it's all very proper and very hello there. So it's like you kind of put that on, and then as you move further down or further up in the decades, you kind of loosen up a little bit more, so that by the time you're at the what's the last one we did? Oh, the pharmacy. The Nexus. It's a little looser. It's not as, you know. But I had, you know, what's so funny about Nexus is I had actually done a depression commercial that ran for like 2 years, so I knew exactly what those commercials were like.
Oh my God. Oh wow. So yeah, you had experience in that. Wow. We don't have these in France. We're like we don't have drug related commercials on TV, but wow, like incredible. Like You just said you didn't know anything about the show. You didn't know anything.
So what we were told when they offered me the role, they told me they told me the show, the name. It was like it's called WandaVision, and it's about this character Wanda who creates her own world around her.
So
And
you
the way
knew
that she's,
that.
I knew that, yeah, and I knew that she was creating it in this TV world, and that with each TV show came a commercial, and I was going to be in every commercial. And then they explained to us, which was just confirmed yesterday in an interview with Matt Shackman, the director, that
Yeah.
essentially we were just two other people in the town that she
Mm.
decided to cast in the commercials.
Wow. Yeah. So no audition. They proposed the role to you. They loved your previous work, and or did you have any relationship with Marvel? And
No, so I auditioned for a different Marvel project about a year before. So about
oh,
September of 2019, I went on an audition for a Marvel show. They didn't tell me the title. To this day, I don't know what that show ended up being or if it's a
wow.
movie. I just knew it was a Marvel project. So, and they gave me a script and they told me, just so you know, this is not the actual script, but the
Oh,
role that you'll be playing or the role that you're auditioning for is like this role.
oh,
So I auditioned for that, went fine, heard nothing. And then last, let's see, like August or September of 2019, they called and said, "Do you remember that Marvel project you auditioned for?" And I was like, "Yeah, a little bit." They're like, "Well, you didn't get that one, but they are offering you this one, which
oh.
is called WandaVision and so on and so forth." So I had auditioned, but it was for a totally different show, and they just used that tape, I guess, to cast me for
Oh.
this.
Wow, wow. Is it usual for you to audition for stuff you don't really know what it's about? Or is it like,
Not as ironclad as Marvel.
oh,
I mean, that's like Fort Knox around there. Like that is like you get no information. I mean, there's definitely been things where my agent will say, "You're auditioning for this show. It's untitled, but I think it's this show." Like he'll tell me, like, "I think it's
yeah,
this show." But
yeah.
even for Marvel, he was like, "I have no idea what this show is." Like he was like, even I, an industry insider, has no idea. So
Wow.
go in and see what happens.
Wow. 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 Hella confidence for taking on such a, such a crazy role. Did you watch
Well,
the
but
show?
also,
Huh?
it's Marvel, right? It's a brand that's trusted. So
Oh yeah.
if they come up to me and say, "We can't tell you what the project is, but it's for Marvel," I'm gonna say, "Yeah, I'll do it." Like, yeah, and I'm so glad that it ended up being what it was because in the in the world of Marvel, this story is so unique and
Oh
nothing
yeah.
like it has been done in the
Yeah.
MCU, which was really exciting to be a part
Yeah,
of.
yeah. While watching this show, I constantly reminded myself that I was watching a Marvel show because, like, the first two episodes are just so not Marvel, but take
Yeah.
these elements and combine them into something that is beautiful. I love the Bewitched era. I mean, all the French people know Bewitched, all those sitcoms because they have been, shared abroad and showed on different TV streams and everything. And I was very curious about how will they do it? How will they connect everything? And they did such a great job at establishing a mystery, which was what the hell is happening, and at the same time giving us entertainment by giving us this sitcom, and at the same time working towards the origin story of the Scarlet Witch, which is what WandaVision is ultimately about. Did you watch the show as it was airing, and like, did you hear some of the theories that were being made by the fans?
Yes. So after each episode, I would start Googling and see what people, it was interesting. And, I've said this before, but Disney was really smart in releasing these a week apart because
Yeah,
if they would have just dumped all of them, we would have been done talking about the show
yeah,
after a weekend. This way, people speculated and they guessed and they talked about it. So it felt like old school TV watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely like I got a little excited because people started having theories about the commercial people and who are they?
Yeah.
Are they Wanda's parents? Is that
Oh,
Mephisto?
yes.
Is it like
Oh,
what is
yeah.
happening? And honestly, like anytime people asked me, I was like, I don't know. And that wasn't me being like,
Yeah. People
playful.
think,
I
oh my
honestly didn't
God.
know. Like I was like, for all I know, we find out that they are her parents. I don't know. We're finding
Yeah.
this all out at the same time. And
Yeah.
because Marvel's known to have kept stuff from their actors where all of a sudden the actor's like, oh, I guess I
Yeah.
am doing that then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But people must have been like, oh my God, Ithamar is just being an asshole on this one. Oh my God. Why won't you just tell me? Why won't you just tell me? I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
no.
I wish I knew.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Do you have any issues with watching yourself on screen? Because some of actors are.
Yeah, I mean, the first time around I watch it, I'm kind of like, I think I'm overly critical of everything.
Me too. Yeah.
But then after like the second watch, I can get comfortable with it. If it's something that's really, really funny or like really physical or a character that I know I can play sort of easily, I enjoyed a lot more. Like when I did, I played Hector on a show called A Series of Unfortunate Events.
I was gonna talk about this. It was amazing. Oh my God, he was spending every 2 minutes. It was so funny. I was like, I was gonna talk about it because it's such a fun character to play, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that one in particular was really fun for me because like that's like if you were to ask me what's the type of character you like playing, that is like he's like my spirit animal. Like Hector is like Hector is me. Like that's just me, just kind of anxious and energetic, but well-meaning. So like a role like that, I enjoy because it makes me laugh. But I have to say, like I've watched a commercial on WandaVision a couple of times because they're just so well made. Like they did such a good job of making them look of those eras that I'm almost not even watching it for me as much as just watching in delight of how they made me look like an actor from the 80s. Like even just something like that. Like that was just really fun with that wig and the sweater. It was just it was fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, even I sometimes I do stuff for TV, and even though I'm in the background, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you blinking so much? You fucking asshole. Why are you blinking so much? Oh my God. And yeah, it's just, it's just something that we have all to deal with.
Yeah.
Did
That's
you
one thing I had to learn too, is like watching, I took an acting class where the teacher would like, we would do the scene and then he would make us watch it in front of everyone. And it was always like, oh, like, and same thing. I was constantly, it was like, no matter what, I was just moving. And I'm like, when did I think moving equaled acting? Like it was just, I just couldn't stop moving on screen.
Yeah.
So like you learn that after you watch yourself.
Yeah. And did you watch previous MCU movies? Like, were you a fan of the Marvel franchise before watching it?
I would say I was a casual fan. I'd probably seen a handful of movies, but I wasn't like, I'm not able to make all the connections. Across the movies. They do a really good job that even if you don't know much about the world, the movies are still really entertaining and really enjoyable. So that was my knowledge. But I learned a lot more once the show started, watching all those after show episodes. Dissecting every episode and every Easter egg.
I mean, people went nuts over this show. They took apart every single phrases people said. Have you heard the name Mephisto? Have you heard the name Nightmare? Have you heard the theory that you were Wanda's father was one of the biggest theory on the show? My God, it was. What was the craziest theory that you thought was really good and maybe possible that you've heard?
Out of all of them, I was thinking that maybe we'd find out that we were their parents, or at least their adoptive parents, because they do get adopted, right? They get adopted.
No. I mean, it's complicated. It's all Marvel multi Earth thing, but basically on this on the MCU, it's their real parents. It's just because in the comics her dad is Magneto. People imagine, how are they gonna connect everything, because Marvel got the X-Men back and it's all gonna soon gonna collide, and that's why everybody went nuts over Quicksilver, right? Pietro,
right?
People were like, oh, this is how it's gonna be done, and and watching this hype just a little bit like die down was very funny to me.
The last thing that the last sort of theory I heard, which was interesting, was that the commercial people were actually a creation of Agatha, because when you think about the theory of Wanda learned about these TV shows because they would watch the DVDs with their family. Well, DVDs don't have commercials. So how would she know how to recreate those commercials? And especially commercials that deal with her trauma, right? Every commercial dealt with a traumatic event in her life. So there was kind of a theory going around that maybe Agatha was behind the commercials. I feel like Agatha's story is not done yet.
Me too.
That's just speculation. I don't want anyone to think that I'm I'm saying,
you don't want a Marvel executive with a sniper rifle outside your house being like, oh, you just talked. Exactly. I understand that. No, I think so too. I mean, Catherine Ann is an amazing actress. I've never met her, but I've been watching her on TV my entire life, and she's been amazing for so many years. And I just hope she comes back. Honestly, did you meet some of the actors prior to the show or after the show or during the shooting?
Not really, just Victoria, who is the commercial woman. And then I knew Randall Park from previous other projects, just in the comedy world and stuff. I knew him, but other than that, no, I didn't really. They kept, like I said, they kept us all pretty separate. I don't know if that was by design or just a coincidence, but I didn't really get to interact with many of the others. And I also know from the comedy world, I also know Asif Ali, who played Norm.
Oh my God, he's so funny. He's amazing. Have you seen his TikTok where he's like, people want me to share spoilers, but you know, I just got an ass job and it looks tremendous. He's just amazing.
Hey, you're in the cast of Wandavision. Do you have any spoilers for the season finale? Here's one. You trying to get me fired? You know how expensive it is to live in LA? If you look at a Whole Foods, it costs $28. You're gonna pay for my plastic surgery, huh? I got an ass job and it looks
just amazing. By the way, I've seen that you are very active on social media, Instagram right now, and I've seen that you bought a Scarlet Witch comic. Did you read it? What did you think about it?
I'm in the middle of it right now.
And what do you think about it?
It's fascinating. And again, I'm not one to really read comic books, and I know it's so dumb because like you're reading about it after the show, but it's also, it gives me a background. So like, for example, in the first book, right away you meet Agatha and Wanda, so that's kind of fun to like, they're friends in this one, and so it's fun to see, and it's fun to see Wanda go to all these different worlds and time periods and really see her be the Scarlet Witch. Obviously in the show, we didn't really get to see her be Scarlet Witch until the very end. So it's nice to like actually see the Scarlet Witch in action.
Yeah, it was amazing. And wow. And I saw, talking about your Instagram, I also saw some of the skits you do on your Instagram. One of the funniest for me is the audition one in which you play.
You get it. I'm sure you get it. You totally understand that.
I guess you can stay. That's the end of the script. You're thirsty. Are you texting someone on your banana? Thank you for seeing me. Oh, yep. I'll just go then.
totally understand that.
The lady with the scarf who like gives you these incredibly stressful pauses after you act, and you're like, okay, so what does that mean? What did I just do? Yeah, it was just so accurate and so amazing. Like, do you think you're gonna do more of that?
I mean, that's all that's keeping me sane during this pandemic. If I'm not, if I'm not working on something like on a show or something, I gotta find ways to make myself laugh. So hopefully more will come.
Oh yeah, I just hope so. You're also on TikTok right now?
Yes, yeah, TikTok as well.
How do you find
So
TikTok so far?
it's interesting. I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily TikTok's demographic. I mean, I'm in my 40s, so like I'm just kind of like I'm like slowly getting it. Like I'm like, oh, that's how you put a sticker on there. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, people have already like download like a million videos that look like
Yeah.
blockbuster movies, and I'm still trying to figure out how to put the filter and music in one clip. So
I mean, look, I'm 23 almost, and I honestly, TikTok is just like this thing that young people do for me. It's just I stick on Instagram. TikTok is a little bit too fast for me. So much information, but yeah, it's amazing, and also like we talked about it previously, these social media platform give you really a space where you can share your thoughts and the sketches you just came up with, and what do you think about all these emerging social media platforms that allow everyday people like me, and I mean, you're not an everyday guy, you're an Hollywood actor, but these social media platforms that allow us to share comedy, especially that, I mean, you've been in the industry long enough to have seen that kind of shift in the productions, and we often talk about how comedies in America, the comedy space has changed in the last 10 years. What do you think about the emergence of these platforms?
I think it's great. I think that one of the things that I had to learn when I first moved to LA about 12, 13 years ago is you can't, as an actor, you can't just sit around and wait for the phone to ring. You can't assume that people are going to be knocking on your door giving you acting jobs.
Yeah.
So you have to create your own stuff. Whether you use that as a showcase for your talents or just as a way to be like, I got to keep my mind going. So
yeah.
Also, like I said, I come from an improv and sketch background, so I'm used to writing my own comedic material. So it's very easy for me to be like, okay, cool. So let's make something today. Let's make a little 1-minute sketch. What I love about TikTok is that it gives you that structure to be like, you got to tell your story in 1 minute. So
yeah,
you got to cut out all the fat. So that's kind of a fun challenge of like, how can I tell this story beginning, middle, end in just 1 minute while still getting the laughs and everything. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, I think it's great. I think giving people the platform to be creative, whether that means comedy, cooking, singing, reviews, whatever that means, puppetry, whatever it is, I think it's a beautiful thing because then people all around the world can enjoy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you still to this day sing and do all the things you used to do?
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm working on a show right now for Nickelodeon, and I can't say too much about it, but I did. Yesterday, I was in the recording studio singing a song that's going to be on the show. So that was fun. I was like, oh, I finally get to sing after all these years. Like, I get to sing again. So that'll be fun. But yeah, that's about it. Other than that, just singing in the shower and while I'm cleaning and stuff.
Still doing some vocal practice, like
trying to keep it well oiled. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. You've been so great, and I don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to talk about one of your upcoming film, Today's Special. We don't know much about it. Can you like describe some what it's about? What is?
Oh, well, that was actually a pilot for a TV show.
Yeah.
That's not a film. So that one, I don't know how much I could say about it because I don't know what is going to happen with it.
Okay.
So I might have to plead the fifth until we know
Okay.
exactly what's happening with that show.
Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, is it like is it like is it slow? The process has been slowed down by COVID.
Yeah, so we shot that like right before everything shut down. So
Oh.
I don't know what's happened to
Oh.
it or what's going to happen. I will say that the creative team behind it, it's like David Wayne, who you might know from like Wet Hot American Summer,
Oh yeah.
and Stella and the State. He was kind of one of the masterminds behind it. And I've worked with him a couple of times now, and it's a really funny concept. But until I know what's happening with it, I'll stay quiet
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I get it. Is it stressful to do a pilot?
Um, yes and no. I mean, it's exciting to do one because the possibility is like, oh, what if this becomes a
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
can
That's you have
do
to
it
deal
every
with all
week?
those possibilities, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it can be stressful because you have a pretty big impression to make in order for
Mm,
the powers that be to decide whether or not to make a show out of it. So that can be kind of stressful.
mm.
But but again, as an actor, you can only really take care of what you're doing in the show and just hope that your participation helps it along the way.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ithamar. It's been
Of
30
course.
minutes. You've been
Thank you.
incredible and you've given me so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Thank you. It was amazing. And I just
If you don't,
hope.
if you don't mind me asking you, where are you right now in your
Oh,
acting
yeah,
career?
sure. Right now, we are in Paris.
Okay,
It's 10 p.m. And yeah, it's been I've been waiting all day for this interview. I was really excited. I gotta say I was kind of nervous because I was like, maybe it's exhausted, maybe I programmed this interview to it's a little too soon for him, maybe he's not a morning person. It's 1 p.m. in LA, right? And I was like, oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, oh my god, I don't know, but like you were just amazing and you gave me so much and it was amazing. And I gotta
Oh,
say, it's
good.
my very, very first interview of the day. Right after
Okay,
this, there's like a 30 minutes break, and I have to interview another Playboy actress. But I mean,
okay.
completely different.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. But yeah, you were amazing, and thank you
Thank you.
again. It was
Great.
absolutely
And this will
outstanding.
be on your Instagram page,
It
or
will
the?
be on GGN Instagram page, not my
Okay,
personal Instagram page, and it will be on YouTube also.
great.
I will ask them to tag you so that you
Okay,
see what comes out. And thank you again. It was
thank
amazing.
you. That was really fun.
I like I said, preparing for this interview, I really discovered some of your work, and you are amazing, like amazingly
Thank
funny.
you.
And I
That
I
means a lot
really
to me.
mean it.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, like the jazz club Ithamar was
That's one of
amazing.
my
I
favorites. That's
played
one of my
multiple
favorites.
roles, and yeah, it was amazing. And plus I play a little blues, and the difference between
Ah.
the blues musicians and the jazz musicians makes it so that I really appreciate when somebody makes a sketch about the jazz musicians, because they are so like up in their like minds, and like yeah, yeah. And yeah, I've known this experience of walking into a jazz club and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's amazing, it's amazing. And you're like, he's not even playing inside his own key. He's like, it's basically, I can do that. Yeah,
Well,
so
I'm a huge jazz fan, so I find myself doing that sometimes, like listening, just being like, oh yeah, and then like, wait a minute, I'm making the face. I am making the jazz face.
Oh, really? I mean, what is your favorite jazz artist? One of your favorite? Maybe you can.
Oh man, there's so many, but uh well, if we're talking like older jazz, I mean Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington,
Mm, okay.
um Ella Fitzgerald. And then as we get sort of further up, um obviously Coltrane,
Oh, yeah.
Chet Baker, and
Okay.
Dave Brubeck. I Take
Wow.
Five. I think Take Five is one of my favorite songs. I think
And do
of
you listen
all
to a
time.
little blues?
I'm not as well versed in blues, but I do love them. I mean, living in Chicago as long as I did, I used to go to a few blues
Oh
clubs and
yeah. Oh yeah.
amazing. But I would need, I'm the type of person that if I get into something, I need to like learn all about it. Hence, buying the Scarlet Witch comic book
Yeah,
after
yeah, yeah, yeah.
WandaVision.
I get it.
But I feel like I need someone to be like, here are the 5 albums to start you off on your blues journey, and then
Mm,
I'd be like, great, let me listen to them. Let's get into it. You know. So,
yeah. Oh my God, so many. Like I
what
don't.
do you
I don't.
play? What do you play?
Oh, I play the guitar.
Oh, nice,
And
cool.
I mean, I just saw my electric guitar, so like right now I'm going. I just bought an acoustic because I felt like I love the acoustic sound, and
Yeah.
and also like to be honest, my neighbors are kind of tired of hearing me shredding every night. So I was looking for something a little bit more quiet, and yeah, I love the blues. And if you ever want to try the blues, I've got a couple names like Miles Davis, obviously, and BB King, which are
Hmm.
like the biggest known artists and biggest inspirations for me. And of course, John Mayer, who's like a pop musician, but who's really
Hmm.
well versed in the blues. And it's been an incredible interview, and I feel like I'm stealing your time, and you're like
Oh,
have
don't worry
other
about it.
things,
I'll let
other
you get
things.
ready for your Playboy interview.
Thank you so much, Ithamar. It
All
was
right. Thank you.
amazing to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nathan. We'll talk soon.
Goodbye.
Have a good day.
Oh, such an amazing man. Such an amazing man. So at the end of the interview, I said that I had an interview right after with a Playboy model, and I was kind of stressed about it because I was like, I don't want to be late, but I want to keep talking to you. 5 minutes before doing the interview, the person canceled, and I felt so bad. I wanted to talk to Ithamar a little bit more. I just hope that someday we get to talk again. He was such a great interviewee. Like I said, he gave me all the right answers. I had so many questions. I really worked on it. Ah, God, I don't know how Zoom works, but I had so many questions, and he answered some of them directly because he's just so I don't know if he realizes it, but he's just so smart and so well spoken that he said everything I wanted to know in like 6 minutes. I was timing this interview, and I was like, okay, so the first part is gonna last 10 minutes, and then basically I was scheduling the interview and preparing it, and basically trying to like keep track of everything, but he was just so good and so fast. I was like, he keeps giving me and giving me and giving me, and he was amazing. Thank you, Ithamar Enriquez, for everything. You were just an amazing first interview of the day. And like I said, I was a little bit stressed because of the camera. I didn't say that to him, thank God, because it would have made me. Uh, it would have just made it more difficult. I don't know why. He was an amazing guy. Guys, you should follow him on Instagram. Like I said, he's really funny. He just released a TikTok that was absolutely hilarious, and I hope good things are gonna happen to that man. He's really, 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 really talented, and my God, what a treat! So that was it. That was technically the second episode of Babble Talk, but the first episode with the new format, which are going to be interviews. I hope I'm gonna do more of them. and it was just amazing to do this interview. I feel extremely blessed to have been talking to an actor who exudes such a positive energy. You guys might not have felt it, but I really felt his energy and his presence in this interview. Like I said, it's not my first interview. I've interviewed some actors before, and not all of them are that, present. Some of them are like, yeah, and you really have to work for it. I didn't have to work for it, and I was very stressed, and thank God I didn't have to work for it. So thank you all for listening to Babble Talk. See you on the next episode. So that was it. Follow us on GGN on Instagram. Following GGN on Instagram, and follow us on YouTube, because this is not the last interview that we are going to do. There will be more, and thank you all. Honestly, I hope the next interview is going to be, but I feel like the next interview is going to be as interesting. I kind of know who's the next interviewee. Thank you again, Ithamar. See you all on Geek and Great News.